Well, another box from Ecuageneral has arrived. It's our second Ecuageneral order this spring. So I'm going to be opening up the box. I've already sliced the tape so I can lift the lid off, and let's see how they look today. They came on a chilly day. It's raining outside, about 50 degrees. We've had some nice warm weather this April, but today's not one of them. But at least I know they're not frozen, and I got them as soon as they arrived. I was waiting and heard the guy come. So let's see what these guys look like. We've set ourselves up here. It's a big box in their usual size, it seems, for large orders. Okay, throw the lid over there. You can see their, their logo and everything here, Ecuageneral. They send them through Apopka, Florida, I believe, where they have a little U.S. thing. In this order, there's a lot of smaller orchids in this order, as well as some big ones, and a few Talanzias as well. So let's see what we've got. Okay, they have a nice little insulating bit of plastic here. Here's the inventory of everything. They've sent that in the box. They keep track of what you order. Although they on the website you could register and you can see your old orders there too. So this was a big shipment. Let me just fold down there. Okay, we have quite a few plants on that order. We got a little crazy. Okay, and got 27 orchids and 2 Talanzias for a total of 29 plants. We got labels, and let's get to it. We'll start at the top. This is Atlantis Macholedis. It is not going to be one of the small guys. It's a Sobralia relative with showy flowers. I believe they're purple in this species. I had 2 Atlantis in the last order, and they're doing well. I will do an update on that at some point. So let me slice this open. It feels like it doesn't have a big root ball, which is okay. It just needs to be reestablished. Okay, so we'll unpack this. And, oh, that's a pretty little plant. Nicely grown. Quite a few leaves. Looks good. It's maybe about more than a foot tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stems on it. The roots are packed in here. They seem okay. They're in moss. I will repot this. It's a terrestrial orchid. So we'll put him over here. And I'll put his label with him, so we make sure it goes in the pot when I plant him later. So this is another big one, probably the biggest guy in the group. This is Sobralia Schwambergia with a Y. Yauapereyensis. I believe this was supposed to be one of their warmer growing, or warmth tolerant Sobralias. It looks pretty big. Put the label there. Open up this package. Oh, wow. Now, I do see some drop leaves here, so it's stressed a little bit. Interesting leaves. Nice purple backing on them. Okay, we have a dropped leaf or 2. It's got several stems and a new growth coming. 1, 2, 3, 4 stems, although this one's kind of on the last legs, but that's normal. And a nice new healthy growth coming here, which I will take care of. The roots feel firm. No rotted roots in this guy, actually, which is nice. And again, look at that beautiful purple back in the leaves. I didn't expect that. Very attractive, actually. Nice dark green leaves with a beautiful purple backing, and should have lovely flowers in time. So we'll set him there. Okay, here is Oncidium lycaiosi. Lycaiosi. This is a yellow dancing lady orchid. My wife Grace likes dancing lady orchids and phalaenopsis or anything showy. So I think she'll like this guy when it blooms. Let's see what it's doing. Oh, that's a nice plant. Looks good. Ooh, it has a spike on it. Nice. Oh, yeah. I think this guy will bloom if it doesn't, go into shock. But the roots look good. Here's some nice live roots sticking up, being an epiphyte. The rest of the roots are packed in moss. It'll go into a pot. It's fairly compact growing, I guess, for an Oncidium. It's not too, all over the place, as some of them can be. And this is a nice spike. It should make lots of little yellow flowers, which should be quite attractive. So we'll put him there with his label. Let's continue. Ooh, we have a Talanzia here. Oh, that's nice. This is Talanzia Hameliana, which is supposed to have a pretty, I think, fragrant flower. Bromeliad. The terrestrial one, I believe. Or actually, no, maybe not. Oh, I'll have to look it up. It's got a little root, which will have to be planted up. It's not one of those ones that's like, I don't know how to describe them, those air plant type Talanzias that have sort of smaller, grayer leaves. I have trouble with those things. This is something I can put in a pot and grow. Nice green leaves. Oh, that's a nice little, look at that. That's really healthy. Beautiful. Just the foliage is wonderful. And they'll flower and then they'll make pups probably. And yeah, it's a beautiful little plant here. Okay, we'll put him over there. And then the other Talanzia here is a not uncommon species, but I figured they'd give me a good plant, and they did. Just a little root on that guy, but he'll recover. This is Talanzia Hameliana, which is another one with big purple flowers, if I recall correctly. Let's see how this guy looks in his bag. The leaves look great. Root is not huge, but evidently it must not have a huge root. Oh, wait, they gave me an extra. Oh, cool. Oh, no. They gave me a few extras. Whoa, okay, we got mommy here with like a bunch of pups and even a new little pup coming out. Yeah, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 growths on this thing, plus little baby shooting out. Then we've got a little one here that is by itself or broke off or something. And we've got another one over here. They don't have a very big, strong root, but I assume that is characteristic of this species. Actually, this one flowered. So this one will ultimately, oh, that growth will die. Here's the pup. This is the pup coming out of this one, okay? Because bromeliads flower once and then they die and then they have to produce offsets. So this is the offset for this guy. So we've got more than I know what to do with there, but we'll figure that problem out later. Okay, next on the list is Encyclic Dichroma, which is a beautiful pink flowered orchid that I grew a long time ago and lost a long time ago. So here was an opportunity to get another one. Big pseudobulbs. Okay, there's one dead leaf in there. Didn't like being shipped, but he'll come off later. I'll cut him off later once I alcohol the scissors. There is some fungal stuff going on this leaf. Wonder if this guy was in the Apopka greenhouse for a while. But the pseudobulbs look good. It looks like it might have been growing almost in a mount type position because the pseudobulbs are climbing. I want it to kind of stay in a pot, so we'll figure that out. But there's a new healthy growth here. This growth is good. These old leaves will go off with the spots and, you know, they're senescing. The pseudobulb underneath looks healthy, so that's fine. So the plant's in good shape, actually, overall, and is blooming sized. So we'll pot him up, and he'll go into like definitely a well-drained mix, because I think this plant in nature grows in like Brazil or someplace on rocks or something. So again, I'll do some more research into the culture before I pot him up. Okay, this guy here is Epidendrum atacazoicum 4N, so a tetraploid form, I assume, with 4N usually meaning 4 sets of chromosomes as opposed to the usual 2 in most things. Whether that's a naturally occurring form or a creation using colchicine or some such in horticulture, I don't know. I'm going to assume it's natural, maybe for this species. Okay, well, that's nice. Look at that. It's got a lot of stems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are some yellowing leaves. And from the epis I got last time, they will drop a few leaves and then they kind of stabilize as they come in, as they adjust to the conditions. So it's a nice healthy plant, lots of growths. Packed in sphagnum. And again, the sphagnum is a little on the dry side, which is good. You don't want the sphagnum wet. So when I feel those roots, I feel firmness, which is good. They actually feel a little firmer than last time, which is excellent. So yeah, this guy's looking pretty good too. I'm pleased. So far, everything is looking pretty good. Okay, next. Oh, this is a big one. What do you got here? You are, Cattleya Rocio de Moreno. This is a hybrid of theirs, I believe, an Ecuageneral hybrid. It looked kind of cool on the site, so I said, why not? Should be something interesting and beautiful. Oh my, look at the size of this plant. Oh wow, this is big. Whoa. Nice. Oh yeah, that's definitely bloom size. Roots, it's going to need some rehab. There are some good roots and some dead roots, but Cattleya's recover fairly quickly. It's got a bud down there, a lead. That'll become a lead. So it's going to break there. And at this end, there should be a bud, but I don't see one here. Maybe it got divided. Oh, wait, under that this sheath here might be a bud. Let me see. Oh, yeah, another one will come from there at some point. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nice, healthy pseudobulbs with nice, healthy green leaves. This one got an end chopped off for whatever reason, I don't know. But the 4 here look good. And we'll look forward to him blooming sometime once he establishes himself and gets growing again. Okay. Oh, that was the bud that was the lead. Oh, it broke off. Unfortunately, looks like it got a little rot there and snapped off, but the rest of the rhizome, let me look here, looks fine actually. So what's going to happen when that kind of thing happens is, wherever this broke off from, this is no good anymore. It'll encourage side buds along the rhizome to break. So they'll break and replace. Like this, this was the lead here. This is where it broke off. So that won't continue, but now something underneath here, back here, or here will break, and it'll actually be going in 2 directions. It's probably this side bud that I saw earlier will break, and then another one will probably break closer to where that lead originally was. So, you know, shipping damage does happen sometimes, but the plant is otherwise healthy, and I don't think this will cause it to have any setback of any seriousness. All right, this is, oh yeah, I was so amazed with the frags they sent last time. So I ordered a few more Fragmenteeliums. This is Fragmenteelium St. Quinn. It's St. Owen, O-U-E-N. Must be one of their hybrids, and I must have liked it for a reason. Let's see what's in here. Last time there were multiple growths, really good plants, far better than what you could ever buy in this country, at least in terms of size and vigor. Oh my, oh, look at that. It's got a spike on it with a flower bud coming. Now, in the last video, we had a Frag Schlimii that had a little bud that was on it, but the bud sadly did not make it. It turned out that plant actually had a tiny bit of frost damage from when the box was sitting overnight, evidently outside, because the postal people didn't alert me about it till after I got the box, it turned out. So, yeah, so that aborted, but the plant's doing fine. This one looks very healthy. There is no frost, obviously, on this thing. So the roots look good. I think it has a good chance of making it, this spike. And in case it doesn't, there's another growth here that has another spike that will emerge from there. I do have several of the frags ordered in the last batch with flowers, spikes emerging on them under lights downstairs in the plant room, aka garage. So yeah, this should do really well. It's a nice healthy plant, multiple growth, ready to roll. Okay, oh, we've got these little thingies here for some of the small guys. Okay, this is one of the Mazdevallias. I don't see the label unless, oh, it might be in the moss or something. Let me see, this is interesting. Okay, opening this is gonna be a little bit of a challenge. See, they've cut a little hole in the side to give it some air, but also trapped a lot of humidity for it. It looks fine, what's in here. Getting it off is going to be a challenge. I guess I'm just going to have to cut it open. Let's do that. Oh, there's another hole on the other side, so that makes it easy. Split it open. I'm going to have to cut more here. I'm just going to have to cut it out of its thing without trying not to injure the leaves, which look healthy at this point. Okay. So I've cut the top off. Let's see if I can lift it out now, unless they've taped it in here. Oh, it's taped and clipped. Okay, this is one of those, they wrapped it so securely so it would travel well, which it succeeded in doing, but it's going to require some effort to get it out. So we'll cut, what is down? That's kind of tough, that rim, okay. Cut down through the plastic cup so we can open it up now. There's probably a better way to do this, but yeah, in terms of opening it, but it is a secure way to ship them. Oh, I see, there's a little, there's like a safety thing, pin holding it or whatever, you know, holding it to the side there. Okay, one leaf dropped off. I don't know if that's trauma or me. There is a leaf with some markings on it that are of concern, but all the other leaves look healthy. It's tightly packed, so I'm going to loosen up that collar there with the scissors carefully, so some air can get down there. And I want to see what this root ball looks like. I also want to find out what it is. I don't see the label on the thing, unless it's in here somehow. I can probably figure out by a process of elimination which one it is, though. Maybe I overlooked a label that was somewhere in here. Let's see. Okay, cut the collar, open it up a little bit. Crown looks healthy. Yep, roots look pretty good. There they are. Which one you are, I do not know. Okay, there's a new leaf that drops off. That happened on one of the Mazdevallias, the one Mazdevallia I got last time, but it's doing fine now. But the rest of them are firm. That's important. If they all start falling off, that would not be a good sign. I expect these type of orchids to be a little bit more sensitive to shipping, which is why I wanted this one coming later rather than as early as the last one did. But I didn't order a lot of Mazdevallias earlier when the chance of severe cold is more likely here in New York. All right, so I'm going to set him to the side because I have to figure out which Mazdevallia he is. I'm pretty sure he's a Mazdevallia. Okay, now we have a bigger cup with 2 in here. 3 actually that are in here, 3 little guys. So again, there's a hole in the side for aeration, but it's trapping humidity too. I guess they're trying to get a good balance between humid enough that these delicate orchids don't like dry up and transit, because they wouldn't like that. They're cloud foresty things. But also not so wet that they're going to rot and get fungi to a lethal degree, which is not always an easy balance to achieve. And then they're being shipped through Apopka, Florida, which is probably getting hellishly hot by now. I don't know, I'm not from Florida, but they wouldn't like that. So, but they come fast. I did pay for a little extra fast shipping this time, just to make sure they got here quickly. And they came when they said they would, and the information came to me on time this time to know when they were going to be coming from the both Ecuageneral and the USP, I believe it was. Okay, this one is Mazdavalia Lilicina, meaning white or yellowish. It's not a huge plant, but it looks okay. It's got good roots. It's got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about maybe 10 leaves on there or something. Just take a look at it. It's a smaller species, but the Mazdevallias, if they're happy, will grow fast. If they're not happy, they'll die a quick death if it gets too hot. But this guy, many of the ones I ordered should be relatively warmth tolerant, though I did get 1 or 2 more cool tolerant ones, cool loving ones. But we'll see how this guy does. Okay, so I'll put him in the box with the unknown there. Okay, these other guys, again, they're clipped in here, so they don't come out easy. They don't rustle around. This is Mazdevalia nidifica. I know that's supposed to be a warm tolerant one. It's got lots of leaves on this guy, and they're good. I'm going to loosen up that collar there by cutting carefully, cutting outwards, because I don't want to cut into the root ball. You don't want that to happen for repotting later. Okay, these guys will go in little plastic pots. Okay, because they like their moisture. Looks good. Okay, there's the invariable 1 leaf drops, but that happens with Mazdevallias. Looks good though. Yep, this guy's ready to go. Mazdavalia nidifica. And at the bottom is a real tiny, tiny one. You are Mazdavalia Wagneriana, variety Terraglossa. Oh, you're a tiny thing. You do have a few yellowishy looking leaves there. Tiny and yellowish worries me, but these actually look healthy. They're not coming off. Tiny species are more susceptible to things like fungal problems because they don't have such big reserves to fight them with. But this guy looks good. Oh man, that's pretty tight. They've got like tape over here, or cloth. Oh, actually, it's paper towel, I guess. Okay, he's a naturally tiny species, really tiny. And okay, there's 1 leaf got mushed there. Is he going to fall off? No, he's not going to fall off yet. All right, looks good. It's a little tiny thing, a little tiny root ball. It's not a huge thing at all. This is a real mini orchid, but it's in healthy, good condition and should do well, provided it likes what I can offer it here. Okay, I don't have a greenhouse, but I do have lots of light setups and whatnot here all over the house and in the garage, which is pretty good for them. I mean, if I had a greenhouse, to be even better. That's the one thing I haven't yet gotten that I'd love to have one day. I think they'll do pretty well here. And one of the advantages is, I mean, here in New York, we can put them out in summer in shade, if you watch them for things like slugs and whatnot. And if it's too hot, I can keep some of them with maybe 1 or 2 light setups in the garage. It'll stay cool there because we, use air conditioning in the house if it gets too hot. And that actually would probably be good for the cooler growing species, these small Mazdevallias and things. We'll find out. Okay, this is a leafy guy. This is Sobralia Dorbigiana. I think this is the one with the yellow flowers. Wow, look at all those branches. A lot of stalks. It's got quite a few yellow leaves, so it's stressed. I mean, brown leaves, you can see that. But it's also got quite a few green ones. So, as with, as one would expect, there's going to be a little bit of trauma here for it to work through because of the shipping process, and maybe it got a little warm in Florida. And it would like. The root here is pretty good, but there's some live root in there and probably a little bit of dead. It's a little chopped up. So you can see the root ball in there. One stem got mushed and away it goes. So in there. So this one's going to need a little time to recover. It will lose all the brown and yellow leaves. They're going to fall off naturally. Like a stalk like this will be dead. But other stalks that are green will stay green with green leaves, and newer ones will arise. There are several new growths coming up in the middle here too. I do see some new shoots coming up in there. So we're going to set him over here with the bigger guys and see what he does. I think it has a yellow flower, if I recall, a small yellow flower, small first Sobralia, if I remember correctly. Okay, we've got another one of the cuppy things. Oh, this is a terrestrial orchid, which I tend to be good with. This is Cyclopaedon Linglianus. I think I grew this years ago and lost it. Grow these kind of things is you grow like a houseplant pretty much. They don't need bark or chips or nothing like that. Just a well-drained terrestrial mix that's not too high in fertilizer. A little pro mix with extra perlite or something like that will probably work just fine. A bit of a annoyance to have to cut through, but I do appreciate them taking the care to pack this so carefully because it keeps this delicate thing from jostling around too much. And I'd rather spend the time trying to open it than getting it out of the box all shaken up, as I've seen sometimes from other plant places I bought from. All right, so it's looking good. There are 2 growths on it. It's one of these things you grow for its leaves, which are pretty, and it makes little flowers. I think they're whitish in this species. The roots are thick and look very healthy. Would grow on the forest floor probably in like debris and leaf litter, so loose, open kind of a mix. Probably not all that different than what it seems some of the Paphiopedilums grow in nature. Maybe not as wet. We'll pot him up later. He has very good thick roots. Look at those thick roots, I'll show you once I get this plastic collar cut. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, look at this side. It's obviously puts a lot of effort into making roots like that. There you go, you can see there's fat roots there. Some of these terrestrials tend to die back for part of the year and then they shoot up again and flower. There's a new leaf coming out there. Probably a flower stalk will come in time. I'll put him with the little guys in the tray to the side, on one side. Okay, we're getting down to the bottom here. Still have several left though. There's 29 plants. This is Fragmenteelium Humelia Arias. So we're going to cut this open. Okay. All right. I'm putting into the root ball. I gotta be careful about that. Open up the bag. Oh, wow. Yeah, nobody does frags better than these guys, I swear. Look at this monster. Okay, I think you are the winner plant in terms of hugeness. Whoa, look at those fans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 back there, I think. It's like 8 or 9 fans. This thing's huge for the type of plant it is. It's got very healthy, good green leaves, feels firm. Roots are ready to go into a mix that will retain some moisture. Frags like that. Let's see, I don't see spikes coming yet, but they probably will come soon because there's a lot of new growths here. So I would imagine it won't be long. It's certainly big enough to bloom. And there's one in there, 2 growths that have bloomed already. You can see that by seeing that, dead flower stem in there. I don't know how easy it is to see here. Right there, that was one that flowered, and now the ones that come out on the sides will produce the bloom stalks. This could be a nice specimen plant very quickly, actually. That's, again, Fragmenteelium Humelia Arias. So put you over there. Okay, here's some more Mazdavallias. We have quite a few of them in here, actually. Mazdavalia Trigonopetala. So a little baggy. Oh, you got lots of little leaves. Okay, wrapped tight in some plastic and moss. Oh, wow, that's got a lot of leaves. There's a few brown ones that are going to drop off. Let's see, do a little tug test. Good. Get a little, maybe one or two, but leaves that aren't, totally firm, but it looks pretty good, actually. None of the Mazdevallias look like extremely stressed, which is what I'm most worried about, because they can be fussy. They will go through an adjustment period, I know that, but that's what happens when you order plants from overseas. But even when you get them in a greenhouse and all established in America, they're still got to go through an adjustment to your conditions, unless you've got like another greenhouse to put them in, which isn't most of us. There's a couple yellow leaves that come off readily. The rest of it is a nice clump. You probably could split this into two easily. Okay, you can see it's kind of like divided from a bigger one, I think. And it would split into two already. So yeah, this is a nice mini. We'll set him over to the side. I'll keep the moss off of him or set him on top of the moss. Okay, now another big one. It looks like a cat. It's a Cattleya Maxima Compact times Schwambergia Splendida. This ought to be an interesting thing when it blooms. If I can get it to bloom. Probably be better in Florida, this kind of a plant, but this should have really interesting flowers. Really cool hybrid. Oh, wow. Look at the size of this. Yo, look at those roots. Where am I going to put this? Oh my goodness, look at these huge roots, okay? Now some of the roots break, and if they break, they probably won't keep growing. So it's gonna have to rely on new roots being produced, but this will help anchor it in the pot. It's got one lead here, two leads on it, two new leads. And looks like it's flowered already, look at that. That was already a stalk before, so it's definitely bloom size. It looks like it's kind of broke in the middle, so I probably will divide it because it's kind of bendy here. There's a break here. I don't know if that came from shipping or whatever, but at this point, it probably would pay to simply cut it or pull it apart. And these three older pseudobulbs, when potted up, will shoot. There's a dormant bud right there and make a plant. And then these newer pieces can become the plant that's going to grow and maybe bloom, hopefully. But since I feel this looseness here and it's already partially broken, doesn't really pay to keep it together. So I'll get two plants out of this and they'll both be pretty much bloom size. So this is awesome. We'll set him in the pot with the flat with the big guys. So sometimes a plant's trauma becomes an advantage. It breaks, you get two. I'll make two. I found that also in the last shipment with the Ecuageneral order. I had a couple of epi species in there that when I finally got ready to pot them and stuff, they kind of fell apart into two plants. So I have like two extras from the original order, two small pieces and two bigger plants of two of the epi species. So that happens sometimes. Now this guy is an epidendrum embreyi. That's supposed to have a pretty red flower. I think it was a cooler growing one, so I was a little nervous about ordering it last time, but I said, let me try it out and see what I can do with this thing. Oh wow, that's a big plant. Again, I like these sort of, things that grow tall and whatever, even though I probably should like smaller things, having plant lights, but I have some nice HID lights that would be great for growing this. I'm sorry, not HID, LED lights. I have some nice LED lights. And got a couple that are like the big square things that probably are used mainly by the pot growers. They are great for growing ornamental plants, and that's what I'm using them for. So taller plants like this will probably go under those because they produce a lot of light with relatively low electrical draw over a fairly large area, and you can grow some light-loving things there, like this, presumably this epidendrum will be. It's got 1, 2, 3 shoots. There are some yellow leaves near the bottom, to be expected. The moss is kind of hiding the crown here, so I'm going to go down in here and see what I can find. Looks okay. Okay, there's some live, healthy roots there. There's some older roots that probably are broken. Yeah, I'm probably going to stake it because it's top-heavy. The root, it'll probably flop if I put it in a pot. So I'm going to stake it so that new roots form and anchor it more firmly. It should produce big panicles of red flowers if it is happy one day, hopefully. Not too long from now after it gets established. So, okay, we'll set him there. And we're at the bottom, but we actually have quite a few more plants here, it seems, guys. The little porthalids, Mazdevallias, seem to be most of what's the rest of this. This is Mazdavalia Hertzii. presumably named after a fellow from Peru, Alexander Hertz, who I met once when I was at the Botanic Garden. Very nice fellow. When I worked there years ago. I think he came on a visit. And I'm assuming this plant's named after him. I think it has a nice orange flower. Looks really pretty in the pictures. And okay, it's had a little bit of stress. It probably wants to be potted and watered. It's got a little bit of chewed ends of leaves. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, what's up with the chewed ends here? However, we don't have much in the way of leaf fall. Maybe one or two will come loose. It looks a little on the dryish, like as though it wants water. So I think this guy, he'll be priority to pot. I'll get them potted today and maybe a few tomorrow, depending how fast I work this evening or afternoon, evening. Yeah, there we go. Loosen up the collar here. Let's see how it comes out. Okay, not much of a root ball there, guys, but enough that it can get started. It's got plenty of leaves. There is some damage on several of the leaves and loose ends that look like something chomped them. I don't know what's up with that, or they got cut. Maybe they got little fungusy things, but we have fungicides for that. So he's gonna definitely need a little work to get him happy. He's got new growths. It'll depend on how many new roots he makes. The roots that are here are kind of mushy, so they're not in great shape. However, the plant is not showing leaf drop and that sort of thing. So I think with a little care, he will reestablish just fine. Okay, this guy is Oncidium ornithorhynchum. I grew this species years ago. It's a pink one, and I remember it being very fragrant. It was one of the first orchids I grew like way back when I was in my 20s. That's a while ago. I remember growing it in like Brooklyn when I was teaching down in Prospect Heights High School. And so I had one in my apartment. I put it out in the summer on the steps by the house that I rented an apartment in, and it did pretty well. Okay, this is a good looking little plant. Okay, it's got a lot of little growths on it. I remember it being a slightly larger species with bigger pseudobulbs, but that was so long ago, who knows? Memory is a fallible thing sometimes when you get older. But this one has an enormous number of fans on it. Wow, look at that. And it's got a flower stalk with flowers coming. There they are. And from the looks of these fans, it probably has the capability of making many more flower stalks when it's happy. Okay, it looks very healthy. I don't see much problems with the leaves here. Like a lot of the dancing ladies, root systems aren't huge, but what's there looks good. You probably could split this actually. But it's got many, many fans, little and big on it. Hopefully I'll get some flowers from that stalk. If not, I'm pretty sure it'll make others fairly soon. So he's looking pretty good. Oncidium ornithorhynchum, the bird Oncidium. That's what that would mean in Latin, I think. Okay, here's the remaining ones are mostly Mazdevallias, if not all. Mazdavalia Lilicina. Okay, rip the label off, split the bag down. Whoa, you had a flower. Flower's dropping, but you were sent in bloom. Okay, we got your inevitable Mazdavalia leaf drop. Don't like being moved, these plants. But it did have a flower when it was sent out. There's the remnant of the flower. Okay. And let's shake anything loose. Uh-oh, we got about 4 or 5 leaves dropping off this baby. Okay, you worry when you see that, but you then tug to see how are the rest of them doing. Okay, so far. So again, you expect with the Mazdavallias and other pleurothallid orchids, the small guys, they're going to stress when they're moved, especially internationally. But given proper conditions, and spring is a great time to reestablish them here in New York when our temperatures are not too high, but you don't have the dry air in the house from winter as much. So it's a good time. This should be an opportune time to get them established. Spring through fall is probably another good time. In the summer, it could be a little hot for some of these guys. But there's plenty of leaves here. There's a good root ball there with some definitely live roots. Yeah, it's got plenty of good leaves left on it. You could see that could be a nice little specimen once it's set in a pot. And Mazdavallias will grow rapidly if they're happy. So let's hope I can keep them happy. All right, Mazdavalia Hameliana. Let's check you out. Okay, opening the baggie, we have, seems to be a pretty healthy little plant here. Not much in the way of leaf drop here, looks good. Okay, cut the little collar. Trying not to cut roots. That wouldn't be good, although they will grow a lot of new roots as they reestablish. I'm going to take that down a little bit, open it up. It's moist in there, but not soppy wet. Again, it's hard to ship these things. You know, this is not like a Cattleya you can ship dry. It's going to possibly dry out if that happens. Yeah, so this guy's in good shape. Got good roots, they're live. Firm leaves, one's yellowing here, but it's not coming off. Good shape, Mazdavalia Hameliana. And we have Mazdavalia pumila coming up here. Take the tag off, let's come up, looks good, another little mini guy. All right, cut the the wrap here around it. And yeah, looks good. Oh, it's got a flower on it. It's got 2 flowers on it. It's got 3 flowers on it, maybe more actually. I guess it was in bloom when shipped. You know, they won't be in the best of shape after this, but you can see they're like whitish flowers, a little purplish, I think. I'll show you what they look like. This is, of course, not in their optimal conformation because they've been kind of flattened and whatever. But yeah, this thing had plenty of flowers on it. The leaves are good. No leaf drop. Nice and strong. Good roots. Good plant. I can even smell a little bit of it. Okay, all right. So we'll set Mazdavalia pumila there, the little Mazdavalia. Okay. So far, no Mazdavalias are like looking beyond salvation here. They all look pretty good. Ranging from, I'd say, good to really good. Excellent. Okay. Ooh, we got flowers on this baby, and it's pretty. There's a faded flower, but I'll show you a fresh one. This is Mazdavalia, probably Limax, yeah, Limax. It's kind of like Hertzii, one of those orange tube thingies. But this one's got like a curved little thing. Let me cut the the wrap down and the tape. Yeah. Whoa, that one's not going to be easy. Again, you have to kind of be careful with the scissors. You don't want to like chop the crown of the plant, and you know, then you might have a problem. Okay, looks good. Let's see, any loose leaves? No. There goes a loose dead petiole of a dead leaf, but no, they're good. There's the flower. It's a nice little bright orange thing, pale orange because it's been shipped. But it's got like 3 little feeler things at the end. It's got a curve that, I don't know what pollinates that, hummingbirds maybe? Looks like it might be a hummingbird pollinated flower. I don't think that would be gnat pollinated like a lot of the pleurothalids are. Nice healthy plant, looks good. Okay, Mazdavalia Rima alba. Rima, yeah, Rima. Interesting name, wonder where that came from. Okay, slice that baggie up. Oh, that's a nice plant. A little bigger than some of the other guys I ordered. Ooh, nice firm leaves, not a single leaf out of place there. Very healthy, very good looking plant here. Ready to go if I can keep it happy, which will be the challenge. You know, this is not your Phalaenopsis from Trader Joe's kind of a plant. It's going to require a little bit of care. Not that I have anything against Phalaenopsis from Trader Joe. We have quite a few, actually. My wife, Grace, does like the Phalaenopsis, so she has the Phalaenopsis collection in the house on the windows, on one of our big windowsills. And she's doing a good job with them, actually. So I'll stick to the weird botanical stuff. She hasn't quite gotten to appreciating that level of plant insanity yet. But if it's pretty and showy, yeah, she likes it. And this Mazdavalia kind of straddles the border between that, because while botanically interesting, when they do bloom, they are actually showy plants and look pretty. So this is very healthy, nice, vigorous. I can shake it, nobody's dropping. Feels heavy, healthy, good condition. Excellent condition, actually. Down to the last 3 here, guys. Mazdavalia Divisia. I think I had this grow it once. It didn't last long years ago. Wants cooler conditions with beautiful yellow flowers. So how can you resist trying again? And the price was right. Okay, we got a new leaf dropping off right away because this is going to be a fussy one. Potentially. Now, what's fussy for me might not be fussy elsewhere. If you live in, like, I don't know, Seattle or someplace where it's cool all summer long, these orchids probably would do really easy for you. They'd be like a piece of cake because they love that cool climate. It's heat that some of these cloud forest cooler liking things hate. So, and so our summers in New York, July and August are the months of trouble. Rest of the growing season's fine, and then winter, you know, you're dealing with the indoor conditions that, you know, plants have to adjust to. Okay, otherwise, good shape. It's got new growth coming there. Where that leaf just dropped off, there's more, another young one will follow. There's one leaf getting a little yellowish here. It's got a couple little spots on it. They do get little fungal spots and stuff, so spraying is sometimes a good thing for these guys. It's moist, but not soppy wet. It's in good shape to survive. But as I said, I would expect this one to be a little bit of a challenge for me, but we'll try it out, and it's certainly a healthy start. Down to the last two. We've got Mazdavalia Lilicina, which I guess is lilac flowered, if I recall. Well, I would assume it's lilac flower with a name like that. I know I like the picture if I got it, and I probably looked it up online too. Google is your friend with these things. I like to look at the picture in Ecuageneral and then Google to see other pictures of what other people have. Uh-oh, lots of leaf drop on this guy. Uh-oh. There goes a whole bunch of them. That's not a good sign. More leaf drop. There must be a dozen leaves dropped off this thing. That is a plant that was stressed. However, there are many leaves left. This is one I'm going to have to watch carefully. Might need a little fungicide after I pot it up to make sure that there's no more leaf drop. It's wet in there. I would have put a little less moisture in there. This one feels wetter than the others. And the consequence is some leaf dropping. However, these leaves are good. There's another cluster of them here that are good. I think we've lost all the leaves that are going to come off this thing. And we're still left with a reasonably healthy plant with about half the leaves that it had. But it should do well. Again, I will put some fungus on this. I've opened it up for air. In fact, you probably can make it into two, but I think I'll leave it as one. I don't want to put it through more trauma at this point. So, and the leaves that are left look healthy. So, yeah, that's Mazdavalia Lilicina. Again, not all the leaves drop, which is what you worry about when you get pleurothallid orchids. Okay, so I'd say that one lost the most leaves of any of the plants we have here. Some Mazdavallias lost no leaves, some lost a few, that one lost a lot. But it's still not what I'd call a plant that is definitely not going to make it. No, it has a very good chance of making it. Now, the last one here is Mazdavalia Rosiola, another little guy. We've got one leaf dropping. Lots of leaves there, so if any more are going to drop, they can spare some. Let's see. Shake them up. There's one little rotten little leaf there comes off. Let's pull there some. There was one little, there goes another one. You kind of pull, they come out easy. Those are the ones that are having problems. It could be little funguses on the stressed out plant. It feels fairly moist. Maybe a little bit drier might have been a better thing. But again, it's a hard balance. This is not an easy plant to ship. Okay, the moisture's got to be just right. And so far, they've guessed right more than they've guessed wrong here. And they're the experts on this stuff. Okay, the plant looks good. It's got lots of leaves, even with the few that dropped off. It's got plenty left. Not a big root ball there. Very little root, actually. So it's going to have to put down some new roots. And the roots that are there look pretty gone, except for one or two. So, and actually, this looks like it's going to split into two plants naturally. Yeah, I'm going to divide this like this and get two full-size plants, then pot them up. These guys will go into like either sphagnum moss or tree fern bark or whatever I can find that's, you know, reasonably moist but has some drainage. These don't go into big bark chips like the cattleyas and things. They would dry out in that kind of environment. But yeah, he's in pretty decent shape, but he's lost a couple leaves. There is a little moisture in there. Again, these have to be watched carefully. Like if this was in a hot, wet environment in like the height of summer, the leaves would all drop off. The fungus would spread fast from the stress. And now it's spring, it's cool, conditions are optimal. I can open the garage doors in the daytime on nice warm days, you know, to let the air in, keep it cool, so the lights don't overheat the garage. And yeah, they'll be fine because I'm home all day right now with the pandemic and all that. So yeah, so it should be in good shape. Now I've got two of them, we'll see. So that concludes our order from Ecuageneral. I'd say I'm very pleased with this order overall. There are some plants that will be challenges. I don't think any of them are insurmountable challenges in terms of how they look. So yeah, I think we've had a good experience here. Again, from Ecuageneral, let's look again at the trays. There's one tray full of plants there to deal with, and I put the little guys over in this tray here, so you can see, and yeah, we'll be potting them up momentarily. That's our report on Ecuageneral order number 2 for 2021.